Warning. The following program contains strong language and subject matter which may be offensive to some viewers and/or inappropriate for children. The content within this program is intended for mature audiences only.
Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, the interactive vodcast where we talk about all things drag and some things that aren't. Who knows? We're really just here to have a good time. It feels so good to be back. We did take a week off 2 weeks ago. Amethyst was on vacation. I kind of had some surgeries, so don't get crazy. It was my sinuses. It wasn't anything like that. Calm down. But yeah, it is good to be back. We are joined this evening by our incredible guest, Brütisha, who I cannot wait to kiki with this evening. They are coming to us all the way from Tucson, Arizona tonight. Of course, we get to chat with my beautiful co-host, Amethyst Diamond, as well. But we should get to some introductions and a little who, what, where about me. Who am I? My name is Jade DeVere. I am based out of Pennsylvania. I love the art of drag. It just makes me happy. What am I wearing? Well, I wanted to... This is not the makeup I was planning on doing tonight. I was actually going to go more frozen, more icy, more cold. And then as I was painting, I realized I was very Whoville. And I like it. My makeup is Morphe with some Wet n Wild. I have a whole bunch of stuff on here tonight. There's a little kimchi on here, on my eyes, my lips. I don't even know where they're from. I got it on Amazon. My cheeks are Juvia's Place. A lot of fun stuff on here today. The hair was done by the incredible Ariana Autumn. I love this wig so much. The outfit is from Coquetterie Clothing. I absolutely love them. Check them out, Coquetterie Clothing. My jewelry is, of course, Rocks by Cox. I have to text her back. I messaged her a couple weeks ago about a jewelry set and I never followed through on that. But yeah, that's what am I wearing? Where can you find me? You can find me on Facebook, YouTube. You can find me every other Wednesday here on Inside the Drag Closet. You can find me on Instagram. Where's the thing? You can find me on the socials and the Venmos and the TikToks and all of that fun stuff. I actually filmed a couple TikToks right before we started tonight. I can't help myself. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Let's see who's here tonight. Drag Styles was the first one to chime in tonight. Drag Styles, the fabulous clothing company that doesn't do clothing anymore because things and reasons. That's my incredible husband, Derek. He runs the Drag Styles YouTube channel. So if you love drag and you want to see some performances from all over the Pennsylvania area, go to Drag Styles and check that out. There's thousands of videos on there. It is absolutely nuts. Who else is on here? Karma Chaos. We were just send me them earrings. Girl, look up Rocks by Cox. If you don't have anything by Lolly, get something by Lolly for all of your aesthetics. Like she will get you put together. Karma, our most recent guest on Inside the Drag Closet. Absolutely incredible. Robin Thompson reminding everybody to share the video because if you share the video, you share the love and you get to share us with the whole world. It's fantastic. Karma's just here to be annoying. Girl, game on. Vicky is here as well. Fantastic. Eric, hey girl. Hey, how you doing? Amber, missed you all so much. We missed you too. So I'm gonna deal with the elephant in the room. Yes, I did have sinus surgery. That was on November 8th. That knocked me out. I had never had surgery before. For our incredible Patreons, you know who you are: Jess, Jake, Lori, Orion, Corey, Brian, Jeremy, Estee, Josh, Chanel, Daniel, Robin, Vicky, and Emily. I have been documenting my recovery from sinus surgery over on Patreon, but I couldn't keep up with it because I literally had a migraine for 2 solid weeks. It was awful. When I went in for the surgery, I'd never had surgery before. They gave me my anesthetic, and then they wheeled me into the operating room. I blinked my eyes. Derek was sitting there. A nurse was right there. I was holding my water in mid-conversation. I remember nothing. But I was put on pretty good pain medication. My eye watered for a solid 2 weeks. I couldn't take the antibiotics they gave me because I was apparently allergic. So yeah, but now they gave me they found an antibiotic I could take. I did that last week. I went from full migraine to feeling fantastic. I still have a medication I have to take for the next month or so, but I feel like a person again. I felt trapped in my own life for a little while, and now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to perform again. I'm ready to do gigs. Speaking of gigs, this Friday, we do have Divas Down Under at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. We're doing a Jingle Bell Rock drag show with myself, Poison, Estee Lauderdale, Katarina Couture, Amethyst Diamond, and October 3rd. I'm so excited to perform with them. It is going to be a riot. Holiday shows are always the weirdest shows in the drag world, so I can't wait to get started. And I cannot wait to introduce all of you to my beautiful sister. You know her and love her. So let's welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, the incredible Amethyst Diamond.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, sister. How are you tonight?
I am great. How are you doing? Looking dark and mysterious.
Well, it looks we're finally like opposite ends of the spectrum here tonight. I'm digging this look on you tonight, and congratulations on your gender reassignment surgery. You look real.
Not funny.
Very real. Don't let her fool you, kids. It wasn't just a nose job.
Oh, apparently when I came out of anesthesia, I asked the doctor how my nose job went.
I would have been like, look, while you're in there, honey, just
I like it
right
from the
on
front.
down.
Can we change the profile? Can we just bring that in a little bit?
Absolutely. If they're going to be in there and it's going to cost that much money, bitch, fix it. Fix it, Jesus.
Well, this is where we're starting tonight. Woo!
Love it. You love it. You love this.
Absolutely.
That's why you're here. That's why you're
Amethyst,
here.
give us a little who, what, where about you.
I have no idea where I am. I'm just kidding. What's going on? Friends, family, loved ones, Patreon subscribers. I love you. What's going on? It's your girl, Amethyst Diamond, formerly now known as Miss Gay Maryland America 2022. We'll get to that in a moment. So it's me. It's your girl. Been doing this gig now here for about 24 years, and I have probably another 24 minutes left in me. So I'm kidding. I'll be around forever. You're never getting rid of me. What am I wearing tonight? So this burgundy and black wig was given to me by my dear friend and designer, Latoya Perry. The makeup I'm wearing tonight is Juvia's Place. It is also Queen Bee Beauty. Most of the colors in the eyes is Queen Bee Beauty. Black trans-owned business. Beautiful palettes. Look her up on Facebook. What else am I wearing? My jewelry tonight is all by Callie Black. Love her to death. She's an amazing designer. And a little bit of Rocks by Cox tonight. And my fabulous cocktail dress was made by a dear friend and family member, Sedusa. So yeah, where can you find me? You can find me on Facebook under Amethyst Diamond. You can find me on Instagram under Amethyst_Diamond1. You can find me this Friday at Divas Down Under, and you can find me Saturday making my debut in Baltimore at the Manor with Brooklyn Heights. And that is Saturday for brunch. Go on my page. You'll find all the links to everything you need. And away we go.
Yes. I was literally, Brooklyn was one of the people I just reached out to today.
Oh, really good.
She's a sweetheart.
She's wonderful. She's a boss in the drag world, and she's all business, and I love her for those things. Definitely.
Absolutely. We are getting some love tonight. Jess just popped in a minute ago.
Hi, kids.
Daniel is here. I'm loving this look
Hi.
too. Like I was joking that I actually did my nose tonight, which I usually never do.
You look
Friggin' Karma
completely
Chaos.
different.
As soon as you came on screen, jump scare.
Coming from the horror queen herself, jump scare scared of my beauty, bitch. You better. If you are, boo, baby.
Uh,
I love
Monty
it.
Manicure. I'm obsessed with this name.
Monty Manicure.
Listening tonight, thanks to your Tucson sister. I am so
That's
excited
awesome.
about this.
That's
Who else is
awesome.
watching? Laura Ashley. Your
Hi.
pineapples are here.
I can't. My pineapples are here.
Is it upside down? Is this a cruise ship thing?
Well, it's not you're on the right track, but different boat. Different boat. Oh,
Oh,
yes, I was on a boat for 11 days. Oh my God, can you imagine?
I can't. Like that is one thing. Like Derek and I have talked about a cruise, not for
Yeah,
us.
baby. Baby,
Yeah.
you gotta get on a big boat. You gotta get on the big boat. You'll love
I
it.
want to do it once, but like we've talked about doing a Disney cruise, but I don't want to be around that many kids. I don't like
Oh,
kids that much.
God, no. God, I'd throw them overboard.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they'll float. It's
There you
fine.
go. It was wonderful because the cruise we were on, there were maybe 2 children
Really?
and like 3 teenagers. It was perfect.
That's the kind of cruise I could do.
Everybody else was retired and over 70, so they were in bed by 7 o'clock. We had the pool, everything to ourselves. It was great.
I would like to point out our beautiful friend Cassie is here this evening watching.
Oh, she's a good time girl. She won an award this weekend.
She did.
She did. She won the Diamond Award of Excellence.
Oh, I love that.
Wasn't that nice? That's nice
Yeah,
to
all
me.
because I couldn't be there.
You're always with me, sister, first and foremost. You are always with me. But if
I
you
will
weren't having your coochie put in, then you know.
stop it.
She has the vaginas.
I will turn the show around.
Flip it.
What was it like this weekend, though? I mean, yeah,
So
Alize
this
worded it
weekend,
perfectly. How does it feel to be a forever Miss Maryland?
exactly. Everybody afterwards, everybody's like, "Oh, you're a has-been now. You're a has-been." I said, "No, I'm even better. I'm a forever." So, yeah, I was. Ironically enough, I was Miss Maryland for 420 days. I know, isn't that perfect? Um, it was a beautiful, bittersweet weekend. It really, really was. Some of my most favorite people were there. My friends and my family were there, all my loved ones. Um, and the girls, baby, the contestants, they were hungry for it. Like I was sitting at the judges' table, just crying all night because these ladies put it all out there. They held nothing back. And we walked away with our winner, Miss Stormy Sky, is our newly crowned Miss Gay Maryland America 2023. Absolutely stunning. She did a Hunger Games talent. It was just perfection. That gown there, it was a beautiful like teal and gold and champagne. Oh, it was stunning. She was wonderful all night. And her first alternate is Jayla Nicole by 1 point.
That's
One.
I couldn't even imagine 1 point.
It's a hard pill to swallow. I can tell you that. I speak from experience. It's a hard pill to swallow. But I was talking to her earlier today, and I said, baby, that point, the only difference is someone walked away with a piece of jewelry. I said, if
Mm,
anything tells you that you are more worthy and able to carry this title, that 1 point difference should tell you exactly that. You know
yep,
what I mean? It's 1 point.
it's minutia. Like it's
It's
not
like
even anything.
hair out of place. You know what I mean? And it's a hard pill to swallow. That happened to me at Glamour Girl.
Oh yeah.
And then I went to Miss Maryland last year as a first alternate, and that lit a fire under my ass, and I won.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she'll be back. I have no doubt in my mind that she will be a former Miss Maryland eventually. So,
And she's such a
yeah,
sweetheart too. I
She
don't know
really
Stormy
is.
as well. I know I've met her once, but we didn't really connect at all because I think it was Pride.
Why don't
And
we get both of them on the show together? Wouldn't that be fun?
I'm in. I am
I
in.
know we're booked till next year, but
Yeah, we are booked all the way. I'll look at April.
okay. Yeah,
I'll see
because they're
what.
both going to nationals in January, so yes. And honest to God, it's, the way things played out for me this year as far as competition and pageantry is concerned. I went to Miss Pennsylvania, 12 contestants. I got second alternate. I was just under 7 points away from being first alternate and having to go to nationals. And can I tell you right now, after competing for PA, my cruise and my step down from Maryland, I could not be more grateful that I am not currently planning another national attack. So
I can imagine.
like I just want to go back to my regularly scheduled chaos, which I was perfectly fine with. Spend some time with family and just enjoy life for a little bit. I'll be back. I'm gonna be back. So yeah, I could not be more relieved and I could not be more elated for the representatives that Maryland has going to nationals. So they're going to do us proud. So I'm
Awesome.
very happy for that. Yeah.
Well, are you ready to meet our special guest for this evening?
Absolutely. This filler is just wonderful.
What? Ma'am. She's
It's
feeling
just a little
plump
filler.
and luscious.
Juicy.
Well, everybody, I am very excited to welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, coming to us all the way from Tucson, Arizona, our very first guest with an umlaut. Look it up.
It's an umlaut.
Let's welcome Brütisha.
Oh, meow.
Hi.
Hi, gorgeous. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the madness.
I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Brütisha, why don't you tell us a little who, what, where about you?
Sure. So I am a non-binary. I go by they, them. My name is Brütisha. It is kind of inspired by my love for just everything that is just industrial in Germany, and I just kind of threw that on me. So, but I am 37 years old. I'm going to be 38 very soon. Yeah, I'm from Tucson. I've been here my whole life. I've been performing since last year, since June. So I don't know what else to say about that.
That's okay, sweetheart. We have plenty of time to grill you with our questions. The world wants to meet Brütisha.
Tell us a
Thank
little
you.
bit about this look.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, this is kind of what I usually do for when I do my goth go-go dancing for Club Sulk. And that happens at Surly Wench every month. I'm the resident go-go dancer, and I usually wear the horns. And I made this jacket for the last one, and yeah, it's
Nice.
Basically visual K, J-rock inspired. That's kind of what I love, like with the German industrial and the J-rock. That's marry them together, and it's just I want to do like a kind of like a glam goth kind of monster. Like sometimes I'll throw in some extra weird stuff in there, but then I'll like pull back a little bit.
Never. Let it all out, babe. Let it
Sorry.
all out. Let it all go. We have some it looks like we have some Tucson fans watching tonight.
Yes, I'm
Is,
Monty.
yes.
Brütisha is such an
You're
amazing
such an
human.
amazing
We
human.
love you.
We love you. Oh, that's sweet. That's awesome.
Love you, Monty.
Is
So,
Monty a performer as well?
What was that?
Is Monty a performer as well?
Yes, and Monty also has put together a couple of shows herself, and there is a new one that's going to be happening actually starting on my birthday, January 25th, and it's going to be really cool. I think I'm going to be part of it. She never really told me if I was yet, so I'm going to talk to you,
now.
Monty.
You are now.
surprise.
Surprise!
How many
Spoiler
folks were
alert.
just coming to the gig? Hope you brought 2 numbers.
I'll provide that.
What's the temperature over there right now, Brütisha?
Oh, well, so here in Arizona, aka hell, you kind of have to deal with the hot for the majority of the time. And even though it is getting into winter, it is barely getting into what everybody else would consider fall weather. So it's during the day, it was still kind of hot. It was about like 73 degrees during the day.
Okay.
But then
All
there's
right.
like, yeah, there's a good 30 degrees drop at night in the desert. So it gets cold.
That's right.
Derek just said Brütisha is giving me Rose McGowan circa Jawbreaker. Love this look.
She did it. She killed the teen dream. I love it. That was a great movie.
Right?
I love that movie. It's good. Yeah.
Yes, definitely Rose McGowan. Love that.
Brütisha, I want to talk about some of the promo pictures you sent me because they're just, first of all, I want to talk about this. What I did a quick take of it, and at first I was like, "Oh, Baroness," and then I was like, "This isn't Baroness, dumbass. This is Bayonetta."
Bayonetta. Yeah, I did that for my my friend's show. Their name is what is it? Yandere, and it was for my first Comic-Con that I've actually been to, and it was a kind of a smaller one, so it was a good introduction to it. It was a blast. Like I did that, and then I did Yumeko, and it was awesome. It was a good time.
Nice. My favorite picture that you sent, and this is my favorite for purely like selfish reasons. I am such a child of the 80s that this just makes my heart sing.
Absolutely. I love that style of like leopard print, the green and pink. I think that's my favorite.
I was actually going to wear that, and then I decided against it.
Well, you came right from work too. Like,
yeah, I was rushing my little behind from work to get over here and throw on as much goth stuff that I could find,
More
so I could like represent what I wanted to.
More black.
Well, I love that you do
exactly.
so much, but you also have so much like this. This tickles me. Like,
that is cute.
The detail.
That was actually my first show.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the rouged up knees. That's great.
Yeah.
Love it. I love details like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the knees thing, I've seen like a couple people here kind of start doing that. It's definitely a J-Rock inspired thing, and whenever I do show my legs, because I'm like one of the queens that doesn't actually show their body very much, I kind of pull back with that. I kind of like cover up as much skin as possible, and but when I do, I blush up my knees a little bit.
Nice.
That's
naughty.
That's an interesting take on that too, because usually like I know a lot of performers, and it's getting more and more, the more skin you show, the better. I like the pendulum swing of, no, I'm not going to show anything.
Yeah.
I
think it really hones in on the entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not relying on body.
And you know, costuming.
Right.
I love it.
That's one trend I've noticed a little with Drag Race lately. Like, I love the two of the most recent winners, but it's interesting that, you know, Sasha Colby and Pandora Knox, spoiler warning for anybody who didn't watch Germany, the first cis female winner of Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The only thing, they're both incredible artists, but they were also very undressed toward the end of it. And I've kind of had a moment of why, like, I'm not a prude by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm like, why does the winner have to be practically naked all the time?
It does. It kind of feels like something that is kind of encouraged for to get the attention. Like if you, I feel like I've seen that a lot where people will start out kind of covered up, and then throughout they'll like bring lots of stuff with them, and if the show isn't going how they want to, they'll start wearing less and less or not putting on as much, and you can tell that that's what they're doing because they have so much stuff with them, like to actual shows.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
I've seen that.
Interesting. I mean, I did years ago, I did a show. It was more of a cabaret style show, and it was at a gay club here in Harrisburg. And a friend of mine was booked in it as a magician, incredible human being, but he wasn't getting the reaction he wanted. And he was like, well, what am I doing wrong? And came over to me and my friend Belladonna. Both of us kind of looked at each other and looked at him, and we were like, take your shirt off. And he did a sleight of hand trick, and during the trick, his shirt disappeared. And we were like, yes, more of that.
We would like more of that, please, and thank you.
That's what I like.
Exactly. And it was part of the moment. It was just, I liked it.
So I want to, and this is, I want to educate the kids out there, and I want to educate myself as well. We have the term of like a biological queen. You know what I mean? Is there a better term for that? I know, Brütisha, when we were talking backstage earlier, you mentioned AFAB, and that is an acronym for assigned female at birth, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So
I do know that a lot of people don't like to use that term, and I kind of just use that because that's a very like coined term. And I think that it kind of distracts people from knowing the actual person of like what they want to convey, because the person that I am and the drag persona that I have is one and the same to me. We're the same thing. Like most of my drag is my clothing. Like I wear this out. This is just like who I am all the time. And if I kind of throw out that term and that's how I introduce myself to the majority of people, they're gonna just kind of pigeonhole me, and that's something that I've been running away from for so long. And I haven't identified like this for my entire life, so it feels like I would be doing myself a disservice from just calling myself an AFAB queen. I would like to figure out because people don't usually like want to be on like first name basis with people. They kind of just want to throw a term at them and be like, this is this person, this is how they are, and this is what they used to be. And I know that personally, even though that I try not to be this type of person, I don't like to focus on what somebody was, in the past, and something that's not that they identify with anymore. I don't want to think about that. But when when you hear these terms come out, you kind of, there's something in the back of your mind going, oh, so I wonder what this person used to be like before that, realization. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But it's a way to, when like introducing myself to people that I don't know, it's an easier way to do it. And it's kind of like the same way with when people will, she, her, me, or girl me. I kind of just go, okay, like I can understand where they get it. I'm not trying to, be too masked all the time. Like my body movements are more masked than the way that I look. So I do understand when people, will come at me with those terms. So yeah.
Right. That's valid.
What would you prefer the term to be if you were to coin one or tell people to, to stop that narrative of calling you by what you don't want to be called by? What would the term be for you?
So like I like when people have a giant question mark and are not really sure what people really are. And that's why I went towards the non-binary route, was because I felt like there was too many layers to my personality that I was kind of not doing myself any kind of service just by staying with I was going by like she, they, and I was just constantly throwing out. At first, I was using BioQueen for everything, and somebody reached out to me and said, I don't know if you know that term is something that you want to really use." And I really like looked into it, and it's not something I identify with. I don't. I used to post everywhere the AFAB thing, but I don't know. Just if somebody doesn't want to get to know who I am, I don't really want them to identify me as anything. I would rather not have an existence in their, reality if I am going to just be some term that somebody just pulled out of the sky. Like, yeah.
We're more than our labels. Absolutely.
I love that too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one thing I realized after you said that. I realized I girled you early before we even on the air because it's just become so common parlance for me. But I have a multitude. I have 4 drag kids. One of my drag children, they started off as a king, then they accepted their non-binary identity, and now they still perform non-binary but very femme. But they will throw girl out at all times, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I am. And they're like, girl is fine. I was like, okay, cool. I'll full disclosure, Amethyst and I were talking about it before the show, just based on your pictures, and we were like,
yeah,
this we don't care. We're excited.
Right. Yeah.
And that's
I know. It's so funny to me because like some people will be like when I'm performing and they don't hear me speak until after the show, and they'll approach me, and almost every single time they'll just be like trying to like gauge what exactly is happening. And I'm like, I don't really want you to think about what's happening in my pants. So yeah.
Regardless of what you think you're looking at, you are now gay.
And that's for you to figure out.
Exactly.
And that's none of my business. I love that.
I love questioning things. Good.
Good.
So, Brütisha, we were talking about you haven't performed in drag for a while. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically it was one of the biggest topics that I wanted to get into was that I am a drag performer that has a chronic illness, and I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is something that came to the forefront in the drag community because of Evie Oddly, and I'm very, very, very glad for her representation for it, because if somebody didn't come out with it, and I know that like statistically, queer people have a higher chance of being hypermobile, which is what Ehlers-Danlos is. So I have not, had not been working since 2012. And it was because I got very, very sick after I went through college, and I was going to be a pharmacologist. And it spiraled out of control. I got really, really sick. And recently I started my first job since that time. So I've been kind of wanting to focus more on trying to see like my time, because I am a parent of a 16-year-old kid. So there's a lot of stuff that I have to like weave in and work in. And I think that I think it's really important for me to be more vocal with what I do with while I'm in drag than it is to really put myself out there and on a stage all the time. I want to be more of like an activist drag person. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I haven't been really doing much. Mm-hmm. But I have been performing though. I do the go-go dancing, like I said, at Club Sulk here in Tucson, and it's over at the Surly Wench Pub. It is usually the second Friday, and that's on the 15th of next month is the next one. But yeah, so for my like platform, I've always wanted to advocate for disability rights, and I eventually want to have my own show where all the performers are disabled performers, but I want to make it a benefit show, and I'm not going to throw it together until I know that I can make sure that every single performer that is in the show is going to get paid a really good amount, because I know that benefits don't pay their performers usually, and I don't really agree with that. I think that you put so much effort into your art that you should be, you should get paid for it. So eventually, so keep your eyes out. I will definitely be putting on that show eventually, but yeah, until I can get either somebody to back it so that I can pay performers, it ain't gonna happen yet. So, but yeah, that's what I want to do with my drag.
But it will
That's
happen.
fantastic. It will happen.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
is
definitely.
That is a very popular topic lately as well. I was watching a little bit of Glitter on My Tips, which is another podcast run by the wonderful Trixie Valentine and Amethyst's daughter, Alanya Chest. And they just had Camden Summers on, and they did talk about, ableism in the drag community. And that is a very, very awkward thing right now.
Yeah.
We actually, one of our guests, I don't know if they're watching tonight, but there are so many venues, there, even here in PA, that a wheelchair can't get into. And sometimes,
Right.
One of the places I used to work, it's not wheelchair accessible, but it's also on the historic register. So they can't alter the building to make it wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
So it's a vicious cycle, but I think most places, need to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's just the way that is.
And I know that there's not only is there not very much access to a lot of venues just all over the place. I know that that like you said, historical buildings, that usually happens a lot overseas too. There's not a lot of like leeway. If there isn't space already, there isn't gonna be space that they can make.
Right.
But there's always the option of doing shows that are not at conventional venues if people are willing to venture out. And that's something that I want to work on too, is not just try to focus on doing bar related shows, because I know that there's a lot of people, including myself, that is sober, California sober, but sober. So like I would really like to have it a way where it's like safe for everybody across the board. I know you're laughing at that.
Love that.
But
We're going to
But
cycle
yeah,
back to that in a minute. California sober?
I love being California sober, baby.
I have never
I
heard
never
love
heard of that term.
That's a good one.
None of this. A lot of that.
So this kind of ties into our wonderful friend Hutch has a question here, which you kind of answered part of it already. Brütisha, where do you perform primarily, and more so do you find it difficult in or with LGBT clubs? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was ruminating over this for a long time when I was trying to get into drag. It was about 16 or 17 years where I was trying to get into it, and it wasn't that they weren't willing really necessarily to allow me into the clubs. It was I was not ready yet. I didn't have the mindset for it. I didn't have the performer wardrobe at all. I thought I did. I did not. So like I wasn't prepared mentally. I wasn't prepared physically for it. And the majority of the time that I was trying to get into it, I was in my dogs are shaking. I was in the thick of it with my illness, and I wasn't able to anticipate my symptoms or anything. So I was kind of like a roller coaster, and I didn't have like a grip on my health at all. But as far as like the clubs go, I have performed probably more at our local bar, IBTs, more than anything. But I do jump around everywhere. Like the majority of the places where I have performed are all queer spaces. Like, I don't necessarily think that I would feel comfortable if somebody just hired me on for a frat party or something like that. I don't think I would
Yeah.
allow myself to be in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I seek out the most established queer places, or that I know that there's been a lot of safe shows that have happened at these places. And if I've heard anything or have experienced anything that was negative, I would not return to said place, and which is why I'm so open with performing pretty much anywhere, because I would like to see for myself what the atmosphere is, what the environment is. I don't want to listen to
Sure.
what everybody has to say. I want to gather the information myself, and I just want to make sure that I'm putting myself in places that I want to be. And so far, it's been really good. It's been a really big learning experience. There was one incident. It wasn't really an incident. It was just a kind of like a poorly managed show, and it was from people that were not familiar with doing drag shows. They weren't drag queens themselves, and they kind of threw us into this venue that was in the middle of town that nobody has ever looked twice at. It was kind of very hole in the wall, and that yeah. So I ventured towards the queer spaces as much as possible, and I wish there were more darker, edgier clubs, but it's okay. They still accept me, and even though I'm kind of a weird person in general, so
I think to be a drag artist, you got to be a little weird.
You have to be a little
yeah.
awesome, I like to call it. And I think it's great that
A little off
you
kilter.
use your, yeah, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Fly that freak flag, you know what I mean? Proudly. So, and I think it's great that you want to utilize drag as a platform for fundraising and for helping people out.
Yeah.
The person who asked that question to you just a minute ago, Hutch, he's the owner of a restoration company here in Pennsylvania. And together with him and myself over my reign, we were able to present the Trevor Project with a check for $10,000 at my step down. So,
Oh, wow.
right, and the Trevor Project is, it's a nonprofit for, they prevent crisis and suicide prevention within the queer community as a whole. So being able
Yeah.
to, make a difference utilizing my art, and collaboration of a veteran-owned business, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It costs nothing to do that for somebody, and it gives so much to other people in need. So we get so much flack in this industry for who we are, for what we're
Yeah.
trying to do, for being groomers and blah 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 blah. So the fact that I can say,
Yeah.
actually, no, we're doing this for a fundraiser. Like, there's just so much negativity out there. So to be able to combat that with kindness and love and gratitude on so many levels
Yeah.
is a good thing. So I applaud you for doing that. That's fantastic.
There's still aspirations now, but they will be reality soon, hopefully.
Yes, they will. Yes, they
and,
will.
and keep at it. And if there's anything either of us can do to help you out, please let us know. Because
Yes.
that's what we're here for.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
One of our Patreons, Daniel, wanted to add Brütisha. I live in Massachusetts, and I'm trying to put together the same kind of show. In my case, I'm an amputee. And I love what you said about holding off until good pay for the performers is guaranteed. That is that's one thing I've noticed more and more with benefit shows in our area. Performers are now getting paid. Because for years, it was accepted that we volunteer our time, we put in our time. Whenever I meet new performers, I always tell them, do benefit shows to get your feet wet, to get started, to get to know your community. And now it's, we've raised so much money. Now they're realizing we are a commodity and we should be reimbursed for the work we're putting in.
This is a business, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely is.
This is
I
business,
know
honey.
a lot of drag queens that they have LLCs under their name, and how are they gonna, pay towards that, or how is a new performer gonna want to have that kind of aspiration where they can turn their name into an LLC and make it that into a business if their first introduction into drag is I'm completely broke out of my mind. I don't look that great because I'm not getting paid for anything, and you show up to the show. I'm not going to say that you're going to look busted if you don't have money, because I never really had money like doing this. I just accumulated a bunch of stuff and kind of like threw myself out there. But like, yeah, I really want to see that, this is a business. Even if you're not trying to make it a business, you are a business entity. And I think that we would all collectively probably get a lot more accomplished if we could all, self-fund into ourselves and kind of like help
Absolutely.
each other and build each other up. And if we can't do that, then what is the point? Like, I don't think that's what, the queer community should be. I think the queer community should be something that is supportive and, you know like helping each other, lifting each other up, and not trying to throw each other under the bus, of which I've seen way too much, and I cannot stand that kind of behavior. I really want to see people succeed, and there's a lot of people that don't care about that. They're just kind of about themselves, and I
Right.
want to see it eventually turn into something, especially since we get so much hate for everything. Why would we want to, throw ourselves at the bottom of a totem pole? Like, what? We need to get together and build this stuff up together. That's how I
Boss
think.
ass bitches. We're bosses.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs, creators, fabricators, designers. Like
Influencers.
Yeah.
we have it all going on.
Yeah.
if we
Exactly.
stop, the world stops.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
No,
and
for real. Like,
there's drag everywhere, like in every
yeah.
echelon. I actually followed on TikTok this week one of the chart-topping country music singers, Flamey Grant, a drag queen. Which, first of all, Flamey Grant, that.
That's good.
But everywhere, I know. I'm totally gonna reach out to her about being on the show.
Go for it.
But yeah, like she's getting so much flack for just doing country songs. And I'm like, so what? Country music is
Somebody
valid. Like,
somebody always has a problem with somebody else's something.
yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Everybody wants to I
Which
love
doesn't
this
make
quote.
sense.
Yep.
there
Everybody
was
just
a,
wants to yuck somebody's yum.
there was a quote
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the cruise ship. I gotta find it. I took a picture of it. It's in the bathroom. They had all these quotes from like Oscar Wilde and all kinds of people. And there was just one that stuck out to me. I had to take a picture of it. I thought it was hilarious. Every absurdity has a champion to defend it.
Oh, I
isn't
love
that
that.
isn't that delicious? Every absurdity has a champion to defend it. So
And that
yeah,
could go so many different ways. That could mean so many
so
different
many,
things.
so many. I thought it was the best thing I ever seen in my life. Every absurdity has a champion to defend it. So true.
I am writing that down because it's accurate.
It's fantastic.
So we do have a couple more questions here. Sorry, I've gotten so sidetracked.
Bring it, woman.
A first one from Kelsey. This is a new name for the channel. Hey,
Hi, Kelsey.
Amethyst, how was your little getaway?
Wonderful, wonderful. It was great. So I guess I really didn't touch base on that. My partner Russell and I, we went on an 11-day cruise, first time ever, to the Southern Caribbean. We went to Antigua, Barbados, Saint Lucia, uh, Martinique, and Saint Kitts. And it was a magical experience. I held monkeys. It was wonderful. I had so many pina coladas. It's not even funny. And I ate everything in sight. So all the weight I lost from Miss Pennsylvania, well, I found it. I found it right back. It was wonderful. So thank you very much for asking. Looking forward to the next cruise next December. So yeah, it's awesome.
Fun.
Thank you for asking. Thank you. Thank you.
Jess has a question here. What made you want to start doing drag? Do you make all of your own costumes?
See, personally, I think that the idea that people have to make every single little stitch of their costume or purchase from a designer or something, especially when they're first starting out, well, performing, and it's not something that is going to be like a guaranteed thing in their life. It's not going to be something that's going to continue throughout their life. Why would they want to invest in? Because drag is expensive. Like drag that you have to go out and make yourself, or drag that you have to go buy, it's expensive. And the stuff that I do is like a kind of amalgamation of stuff that I've thrown together. I used to Frankenstein a lot of clothes together to make different costumes, just as a person in the world. Like I would dress that way. Like I said, my drag persona is just me. It's just kind of like amplified a little bit, I guess. Because with me, I probably wouldn't be wearing wigs because I can't stand it. Like it's like a sensory thing. So like, but like me in my everyday life is this is it. Like this is what I would, if I had the energy to do it, I would be out there looking like this. And I think that, if you made every single thing that you have or spent the money for it, you would kind of be digging a hole if you were not trying to invest into a very, grandiose like future. And I think that there's a lot of queens out there that kind of got introduced into drag, not as like a solid thing in their life, like not like a permanent thing in their life, just kind of like for fun. And I don't like that expectation where you have to, like, I don't like expectations at all. Like, I don't like when people want to put you in a box in any kind of way. And I know that a lot of performing in general, I know like with the burlesque community, there's like certain ways that they go about things, like steps going into doing burlesque, like paying somebody to do like lessons for dancing and whatnot, having to pay a fee to be in a show. That used to be a huge thing here. And yeah, like at
You just
least
have to pay to be in
$100
one?
just to get. Yes, to get in one, you would have to pay at least like between 100 to 300 just to be featured into a show. That's not right. I don't like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was gonna be something that I considered doing was burlesque, because I was like, I gotta get on a stage somehow. I don't know if I'm gonna be in a band, which is incredibly hard to get organized. People don't want to get like, everybody wants to be a lead singer. They don't want to be the bassist or guitarist or behind the scenes. So but like I don't personally like showing my body off. I like to be as covered as much as possible. Even when I'm go-go dancing, I'm like almost completely head to toe covered. And I just think that like it also, I think all of this all together kind of okay, sidebar. I have ADHD. This is going to go all over the place. So, no, but like I think that in some aspect that any kind of expectations out of anything is a little bit ableist financially or physically. Like you don't have the access to, not everybody has the access to things. Yeah.
True.
Very true. Very true. Like a lot of queens go broke doing drag. Drag is expensive, very expensive, and it is a business, like you were saying. So like I'd say at least half of what I make in drag gets invested back into drag. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's how it eventually starts to fuel itself, and it becomes self-sufficient, and it becomes a machine. You know what I mean? So, but starting that machine, yeah, you're going to thrift shops, you're taking anybody's hand-me-downs, you're quilting things together to make cohesive ideas, to fit your character. So yeah, drag's expensive, extremely expensive. I get it.
I've seen so many baby performers just come onto the scene and just destroy their bank account.
Yeah.
One of the harshest things I've ever said to somebody, and I'm sure I've talked about it on the show before, but it is the harshest thing I've ever said to someone. They wanted to compete for a pageant. I was like, you don't really have the money to do that right now, but if you want to do it, I guess. They competed, they won, and then they had to go to the national competition. I was like, you can't afford that. But
no,
they went, and my husband and I were on vacation. I get a phone call from her, and she's like, I didn't win, and I can't afford to come home. And I was like, oh, okay.
I guess she didn't budget
loan
for
me
that.
money? What?
I guess she didn't budget for that.
She didn't budget for that. And she was like, can you loan me money? I was like, absolutely not. And I literally, on the phone with her, I was like, better start sucking dick for money. And her response was, I can't, my boyfriend's here. And I was like, oh, two mouths.
Double the check. Come on, honey.
I am by
He'll be
no means
home in a
mean
heartbeat,
person.
baby.
But I told her, I was like, don't go, you can't afford it. And she went, and she learned. I don't know how she got back home, but she never did. No, she ended up coming back home. She ended up becoming the promoter for the pageant the next year. And then at the pageant, she bailed at the end and didn't pay anybody. The national title holder had to find a way to get back home.
No.
So
were we talking about her earlier?
No, we were not.
Oh, same scenario though.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah, different
honey.
person.
Oh, yeah, no, but the person we're not shady. The person we were talking about earlier. Exactly.
Well, and that's the thing about the drag community. Yeah. Like, everyone thinks we're all out to get each other. No, we're not out to get each other. But when someone screws with our community, we are there for each other.
If you're shitty, I'm telling my sister.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that's I remember that. Like, I started competing shortly after I hit the scene in Harrisburg, after I turned 21. So like I had become Miss Stallions, and then that took me to Miss Harrisburg, and then I won Miss Harrisburg, and I went on to Miss Pennsylvania. And then in 2004, I qualified to go to nationals. A 23-year-old, you can't tell a 23-year-old that they have to travel halfway across the country, and they need a good $10,000 at least to make the cut. I was like, wait, what? So yeah, a lot of the new girls have a lot of talent, plenty of talent, but they don't have the finances to back up that talent, and that takes time. That takes brains.
I think
that's when you turn it into a business.
I think a lot of people are trying to use like certain like outfits as a crutch. Sometimes like there'll be a completely brand new queen, and they'll blow like 500 to 1,000 just on a wig, and you see that show up, and they don't have the like performing skills to back that up, and it's such a weird thing to see, because you see this like gorgeous looking queen, and then they're not putting anything into it, and it's like, I don't know what you thought was going to happen. That it was going to give you some kind of superpower throwing on that expensive ass
Not at all. Just because it's expensive does not mean it's good.
Yeah.
Well, and to tag on to that, like, I have seen girls blow thousands of dollars on stuff, but they can't perform.
Yeah.
And they can't do their own makeup. I'm like,
oh.
Yeah.
That bothers me a lot.
Yeah. That's one thing. Like, my face changes every year or so. Like, I don't know what this is, but I'm a fan of her, so she might stay around for a while. But I was playing tonight. But yeah, I've seen performers who don't know the building blocks, or they want to fast track to something.
You have to put the work in. You have to walk the walk.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a very like common thing now, especially since like Drag Race has been around for a good while now, but I think that it's getting so like not just like mainstream, it's kind of part of like our reality. It's everywhere, which is a good thing because it gets a lot of performers out there. But
Yes.
it can also be a double-edged sword because there's a lot of people that have the confidence to go out to perform, but don't have the
Sure.
actual, yeah, they don't have anything to back themselves up with. And you see it happen. I see it happen so much all over the place. Like
Yeah.
it's not here. It's like everywhere.
It's
And the thing
everywhere.
is, it's kind of like a safety hazard too, because if you're trying to pull off stunts that are gonna injure you or injure the audience, what are you doing? That's not good.
Right.
Drag
All,
is not a contact sport.
it's
That
not. All these babies throwing their bodies on the ground. I'm like, honey, you will regret that, I assure you.
Yeah. And I am
Wow.
guilty. I will say it. I like, when you're out there and you're new and you see everybody getting a lot of reaction from the crowd from doing a whole bunch of stuff, and then you try to do it, and obviously with my body, the way it's not meant to do that, no matter like how much effort or work I put into my body, it's not gonna be just like somebody that is able-bodied, because even though I don't really use mobility aids currently, which I'm very glad about, knock on wood, but there are a lot of performers out there that do use mobility aids. One of my favorite ones is Jacqueline Bach. She's a burlesque performer, and she knows her limits. She knows that she does, and she'll perform in her wheelchair. It's a really cool looking stylized wheelchair. But you see all these brand new queens just destroying their body immediately, and you're like, that is not gonna work forever. Like, you're gonna do this for like a couple of months, and I did it myself, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not gonna put myself
Yeah,
through that. That is not worth it.
it's terrible.
it's the I want the quick result. It's the I'm going to tear my
Yeah.
wig off during a number and the audience will go crazy. They'll go crazy the
Yeah.
first time.
The first time. If you
Yeah.
don't have talent, you throwing your body on the floor is only going to work for so long.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're gonna be what? You're gonna be in your, not even like, I was gonna throw out like some huge age out there, but just like, give yourself a year and your body's going to tell you that that was a bad idea.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
definitely something that
Sure
I feel
will.
the repercussions myself. And, I've seen Evie Oddly talk about it a lot, where she keeps saying that she's losing her abilities. And it's really, really disheartening because, as a person that you want to perform and be out there and do all these crazy things that get people excited. And then you're out there and you realize, after this show, I'm going to be in so much pain. And for what? What did I do for like $40 for a paid gig?
Exactly.
Or
And a little
even if
bit
you
of
did get
clout,
paid.
and a little
Yeah.
bit of recognition. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. So given,
Mhm.
your illness, what are the symptoms? Like, what are the conditions of your illness? Like, I know Evie
Yeah.
Oddly has mentioned it on television, and she had mentioned that eventually she's going to be wheelchair bound.
Right. I know.
Is that something like in your future, do you feel, or no?
Okay. This condition is very complex, and there are 13 to 14 different types that you can have. The most common type, which is something that's supposed to be this is supposed to be a rare condition. And if you just open up TikTok or something like that, you're going to see loads of people that have it. Like, it's not a
Okay.
rare condition. It's not recognized by doctors. And there's varying things that can happen. So a lot of your entire body is affected because it is your connective tissue in your body is not coded right in your genetics. And
Okay.
currently, the hypermobility HEDS is not something that is recognized as a genetic version of it. It's the only one out of all of them that isn't, because they haven't found the genetic marker for it yet. And it's a lot of research that has to go into it, and there's not a lot of people doing the research, but it's happening, and they're very close to finding it. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. You can your skin is affected, your teeth are affected, your bones are affected, all of your muscles and tendons are affected by it. Kind of like the generalization that people get with this is that it does mess your body up severely, and it's mostly like joint subluxations and joint dislocations, of which something that happens to me even when I'm asleep. I will dislocate the bones in my chest. My shoulders are constantly subluxed
Wow.
out of the socket, and my left side is more affected than my right side, and it's something that I've always dealt with my whole life, but they just didn't really know what it was, and they just kind of said, oh, you're overweight, oh, you're this or that, and it was this the whole
Yeah.
time, including asthma. I didn't have asthma. It was a dysautonomia issue, which, if you've probably heard POTS because of COVID and everything. People are getting long COVID and they're getting dysautonomia symptoms, and this is something that happens with people with Ehlers-Danlos, is that they have these crazy huge big symptoms, but then sometimes you don't have anything going on. You might have like a tinge of pain in your body a little bit, but since you're constantly in chronic pain all the time, you don't really notice it. It kind of feels like a buzz in your body, but you're
Right.
always in pain. It's a constant thing, and it's really, really frustrating because I will be doing absolutely nothing, and that's kind of like the antithesis of it, is that you're supposed to be active and moving around and getting your muscles to be fluid and getting out there, and
Right.
a lot of people don't want to put that work into it, going out and getting like PT or going out and working out and strengthening muscles so that your skeleton's not falling apart like a bag of bones. People don't want to do that, and it kind of like works against you, and that's just overall this condition is just it's time consuming. It can be expensive, especially with somebody like me that doesn't have health insurance anymore because of Arizona. But no, but like the thing about having a chronic illness and being a performer, I thought that it was a great thing that Evie Oddly came out with it, that they have Ehlers-Danlos, but they did not put that much of a spotlight on it, and I thought that was a really big, like, missed opportunity.
Missed
And there's a
opportunity.
lot
Absolutely.
of actors out there. Yeah, there's a lot of actors out there. A lot of them I don't want to mention because they're kind of terrible people. I wish we had better representation out there. There's a lot of people
Oh,
that are not good that have Ehlers-Danlos.
oh no.
Yeah.
No.
But the thing is that it affects your whole body, so it affects your brain too. So there's a lot of mental illness that coincides with it too. So I do understand why there's a lot of people that aren't like certain actors and actresses out there that have it, that have come out with it.
Right.
I will say one, because she's not so bad. Halsey has it.
Wow.
And they're more like spoken about, like outspoken about it than the majority of people are. And then there's certain actors out there that have been presented with the idea that they have either Ehlers-Danlos or something that is that is related to it, that's called Marfan's. An example would be Doug Jones. He says that he does not have it, and everybody in the Ehlers-Danlos community is like, I don't think that that's true. I think that you do, and it would be a lot more like beneficial for everybody as a whole if we had more people that were well liked representing us. And I hope that eventually somewhere in the nether that I could be part of that. I want to change things because there's so much that even doctors kind of like hold against us. Like they have pigeonholed us as drug seekers. They think that we're just people with anxiety that are just being dramatic about our symptoms, when I will just be walking in a straight line and my kneecap will completely fly out of the socket, like out of place, and I will fall to the ground. And it's just like, it's not fair that we don't have the kind of representation, like say, just like the queer community as a whole. There's a lot of good representation. There's a lot of great people that are doing great things for the community. I wish that there was more for more disability advocates out there that were using their platform to do that, and also be a good person at the same time, so that the platform looks like a good place to be. Just
Right.
like,
That is
here you
important.
go, look at this. I'm a terrible person,
Right.
but this is what I support. Yeah.
Right. So this
Yeah.
is extremely complex. It's not just pinpointed with joints or bones, or it's neurological. It's a lot of things. Wow. I didn't realize it was so
Yeah.
complicated. Wow. Well, it's
Yeah,
good that
it's a
you are
very
here
time
to
consuming
speak on it.
thing.
I just learned a
Yeah.
plethora of information from you. So thank you for being vulnerable and speaking out about that. That's fantastic. You are the person who's going to be at the forefront of this conversation. So
I hope so.
yeah,
I hope
yeah.
I hope I can do something, because the thing with this condition is that it, like I said, it wasn't working since 2012, and I was still going out and hanging out with people, but this was missing from me. Performing, being out there and being on a stage and doing stuff, because prior to 2012, I was doing pinup, and I was in a pinup group, and I was performing. That's the first time I did go-go dancing, and I
Oh,
was
wow.
doing runway modeling for local, for like my friend's shop, and commercials and stuff. And I was doing all this stuff. And at the time, this was before, like, this crazy thing. This is the thing, is that this condition could get so much worse, because there's stages to it, almost like puberty, basically. And
Really?
so you'll be, adolescent, and you won't have any symptoms. You won't have anything that will, like, trigger a, like, what's going on type of response out of doctors, because kids are floppy. Kids kind of just, they can move and do whatever, and they're kind of like not, glued together right just yet. And then
Right.
you get into teenagehood, where you're just kind of like trying to figure out your body. You're confused with what your body's doing anyway, so you kind of just ignore all the weird things that are happening. And then you get into like your mid-20s to 30s. This is where the bad time happens. This is where a lot of people get so affected by it that they become completely disabled, and they are not able to do anything. And if you saw what I was like back when that was going on, like the heaviest, I was not. I was not in a good place at all, and like I was still trying to be the same type of person that I am, but that gets really hard when you're so exhausted just from
Absolutely.
living every single day. And
Of course.
it's a very, like I said, time consuming and painful thing. It's like, for me personally, I would say my symptoms are more of a constant crushing feeling over my entire body. And the first thing that doctors like to do is say that you have fibromyalgia, which is a symptom diagnosis. So you can have fibromyalgia, but it is the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more happening. There's so much more going on, and I have the benefit of, back in what was it, 2011, where I went to school for pharmacy technician, and then I wanted to go into pharmacology before all of this, went sideways for me. But I learned a lot of medical stuff. I learned a lot about medications and how they affect the body and what they can do to your body, and it started uncovering things. And then eventually, my friends got, to know me, because I've always been a very open person. I will tell you everything about my life. I want people to be comfortable knowing me and knowing who I am. And I don't really want people to have to, like, question my motives for things. So I just lay it out for everybody.
Sure.
So I've gained a lot of friends that that do have Ehlers-Danlos. And was my one friend, Amanda. She came to me and was like, I think you have what I have. And if it wasn't for her back in 2014, I don't think that I would be in this place right now. I don't think I would be able to be on stages and wanted to have like I've always had confidence, but to have this type of confidence where I'll just like throw myself at anything just so I make sure that I get myself out there, whatever I can do to get out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I was a completely different person, and I really want to see just I don't want to see that, like, people that have the talent, I'm not gonna say waste it, and because they're in their home suffering. This is a very excruciating thing to have. But I will like, I want to have it so that eventually, even if you are homebound, that you can still perform, and it's not something that's like, oh, we're not going to watch that, because like we did that during the pandemic. We watched everybody perform on videos and stuff. We don't want to see that.
Right.
But there's a whole sect of people that are sick that can't go out and perform. And they could, if we allowed to have them to have a platform, if they had like a special app like TikTok. I know I have a lot of friends that have chronic illnesses that are agoraphobic, or they don't want to go out into public, but they still want to perform.
Sure.
That should be a welcoming thing for people, and it's I think it's ableist, like it's through and through, to not want to open the stage for everybody. It should be wide open, and we should be making as many different options for people to perform. And like, there's a lot of drag queens, I know that, but there's a lot of talent out there that can't get on a stage because of their abilities or disabilities. And I want everybody to have their dreams fulfilled. I think that it's so sad to see so many people not being able to get out there and do the things that they want to do, are capable of doing. And then you see people that have the physical ability but don't have the the performance. Like, they're not a performer.
Presence.
They're not out there they don't have the presence. And there's people out there that do have the presence, they just don't have the platform. I want to bring them that platform. That's what I really want to do with this.
We got a lot of beautiful comments while you were talking just now. Antonio Perez, Brütisha, you have an amazing spirit and you're such an inspiration. Thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
Stephen Urig, I've seen it happen, but they handle it well.
Yes.
You were talking about your reactions, and I feel like I have learned so much in the last hour. While you were talking, I was also trying to find like organizations and, things that benefit. And I found a list of 6 people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Billie Eilish, Jamila Jamil, Evie Oddly, Halsey, Shirley Houston, and Sia.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was trying to find like
I didn't know that.
scholarships for Ehlers-Danlos. Providing a number of okay, now I understand that. I was like, I didn't process that correctly in my brain. Sign up for it. That's where my brain went, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. Brütisha,
but I know, like, no.
You're a delight.
No, I just wanted to say that basically, like, I've always wanted to do something with my life that mattered more than what, like, I was doing with my life at that time. And anytime that this has ever, like, come to fruition for me, it's always been more like I'm like on the edge of being able to do something and not really there yet, but I'm skimming the surface trying to figure it out. And that's what I was doing for the majority of my life. And I'm just one person, and if there's definitely more people out there. This universe is too large for it to just be me having these kind of aspirations. I want my drive to do good things for people, to get the people that have even more of a drive to get out there and just keep creating, keep building. I just want to see everybody create and build and kind of go forward. And I don't want to see the negativity that I see within the community, because I see it a lot and it's really disheartening. Like, I use that word a lot, but I would like to see more positivity, because there's so much negativity coming at us at every angle. But to have it come from inside the house, stop. We need to build each other up. We need to build this empire.
Right? The call is coming from inside the house, and it needs to not.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Which is like it could even like I could get into it with the whole AFAB. Not a lot, like a lot of like communities, like they weren't allowing people that were born female into the community just because of that. And there's all these pageants that I can't be a part of ever just because I don't have certain parts. And I think that that's really, really, really backwards thinking. Like I know that like people want to feel very exclusive to certain titles. Like this goes to these sects of people. Like this goes to these people. But it, I don't know. It just feels like
It's separate but
we're
equal.
trying to label a label, and it's just piling up, and then like I've seen, I think it's funny to me, like seeing all these different title names. They're like so long and convoluted, and they last. It's like a whole paragraph, and I'm like, I don't even know what this pageant was for. Like, can somebody please explain
Gay
it to me?
Gettysburg, America.
Hey, hey, that is very
And it's a lovely
self-explanatory.
thing. Like,
That's
don't
right.
get me wrong, it's a lovely thing that these exist, that we have all these different titles and all these title holders. But it's also like I feel very divided. Like there's this road going this way, this road going this way. I'm not allowed to go down this road. Why is that? That is very, very weird to me. I want to do everything that I can possibly do, and if I can beat down this wall, it would make me so happy to see that we aren't trying to like build up all of these walls from each other. We can do so much together versus trying to say, well, you can't do this because of this. Why? Why is that? I think that I put enough. I think I put enough work and elbow grease myself to be able to do things that people that were born male, and even if they don't identify as being male, they're allowed to perform in these pageants. But I'm not allowed to, and I don't identify with anything.
It's
So
no
I'm not sure
personality.
what. Yeah. So if I'm not gonna discuss like what I have plans for my body for the future, but or what my body is. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna come out and say what's inside of my pants, but just you can get an idea.
Jewelry.
But so like if I were to, even if I were to change physically what I have, I still would be barred from doing things, and I think that that goes against a lot of what we should be for. And the drag queens wouldn't really be a thing if it wasn't for trans Black women. So
Mhm.
I think we should lead by their example and try to make a better future for just everybody. If we're doing good, everybody's going to be doing good. Even if they're not, that's their problem. But yeah, whoever
That's right.
supports us, they should be doing good too.
Yeah.
If you're not, do better.
Yep.
Do better.
And
Do better.
I think we're at a very weird time just in general, because I think things are changing, which is why we're getting so much of that kickback. But I think, not to, harp on Drag Race again, but, Drag Race Germany had their first cis female winner.
Yeah.
I love that she's getting people who are just like, how dare you invade queer spaces? And she's like, I'm a lesbian. I am
Right.
queer people. Like, so I think the times they are a changing, but they're not changing as fast as some of us would like them to. On the flip side, it's changing too fast for some other people. So
Yes, that is very true.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's not fast enough, but we'll get there. I think eventually we're gonna all be on the same playing field, and we're gonna be like unstoppable, and we already are. Like
Yes,
I think
we already
we
are.
have a lot of power. Yeah.
Yeah, we already are.
Brütisha, I want to see, like, I can see you organizing kind of like a fundraiser type show for the differently abled. Honestly, at first I was like for people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, But then I was like, we have a couple people who have been watching this evening who are differently abled as well. And I was like, I'll perform, like, I would love to see a huge show, even if it's put together virtually.
Yeah.
Something like that. You just got to get that one big name in there to be the, hi, I'm going to advertise. I'm going to spread this on my social medias.
Right.
Like I could, the thing is getting to that person. But I could see
Right.
Evie Oddly if she's not ridiculously busy in the world.
Right. Well, actually, she's going to be here in Tucson, and I'm trying to get at least to volunteer for that show. It's coming up very, very, very soon. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I submitted myself. I'm not going to be performing, unfortunately, for that. But yeah, I'm trying to get my fingers in there because, like, I was supposed to meet her a while ago, but it wasn't for this reason. And I'm glad that I didn't at that time because I don't think that I would have really had much to offer for like conversation if she's willing to have conversation. Even if she's not, just to be able to, you know, say like, oh, this is who I am, I exist, you know, we deal with, and not exactly the same because everybody with Ehlers-Danlos has different things that they have that bother them a little bit more or less. But we're in the same boat, like whatever, you know, just being around the aura of Evie Oddly, hopefully. Fingers crossed this happens, but even if it's not Evie, if it's somebody else, like there's whatever I can in the future get my paws on, I'm gonna do it. And
I just got the
even if
mental
it's
image.
not,
I'm gonna manifest this for you. A Sia concert with drag performers performing Sia's numbers while Sia performs them.
right. Okay, so I will have to say this. Sia is not one of the ones that I would ever mention.
Okay, valid.
So, yeah, and it has a lot to do with her trying to make that movie that she did, where it was supposed to be like an autism awareness type of movie, but didn't have anybody that was, you know, that has autism be the forefront of the movie, and made it look like kind of like a joke. Like it was wacky. It wasn't really that much of a good representation for autism, and I think that that's unfortunate because she has a huge platform and she could have taken that so far, but she lost a lot of people that advocate for disability rights with that movie, unfortunately.
Never mind, Sia. You can't do it now.
We don't talk about
I like
that.
your idea, though.
Right.
We don't talk about that.
I'm sure that the idea's out there, different artist.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm like. Come on, somebody that's really good, a good person, come out with it. but even if it's not specifically like Ehlers-Danlos, if it's for an advocate for like mental health stuff, because there is a really large thing that I deal with every single day, and it's also a chronic thing, and it's not something that like lots of people know about. And the only reason why I found out what it was because Matthew Perry was in a movie called Numb, and he had depersonalization disorder, which is something that I have. And you feel like you are in a basically like a movie every single waking second of your life. Like it doesn't feel real. Nothing feels real, which I thought was really interesting that you called this the show. You were like, what is real? And I was like, that's perfect. That's a springboard for me if I've ever heard one.
I think you put that in the bio you wrote. And I was like, that just makes sense to me.
What is real?
Yeah.
What is real?
Yeah, so like whether I'm going to be advocating for just Ehlers-Danlos or if I'm just as a whole advocating for all disability rights, mental and physical, I want to do something. What I don't know what that's going to look like in the future, but I hope it's big. I hope it's good.
Well, you've already just taken the first steps just by talking about it.
Yeah.
Derek just said, Brütisha, Evie would be great, but hearing your passion and knowledge about the topic makes me think you're going to be a big driving force with or without her.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that, because like I feel like I haven't really done enough work with it because I haven't had financial access to be able to do the kind of work that I want.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. That's one of my friends. But but like I just feel like I hate this about myself, but I kind of beat myself up about it that I don't have the funds to do the things that I want to do to help other people, and I'm trying to help myself and my family, and I feel like I should be doing more. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, and I get a lot of people telling me that, it takes time, you are doing enough, you're going through a lot, which is, true, but I don't like to put myself on that kind of pedestal where like I don't want anybody to really like feel bad for me, because I don't think that there's anything to feel bad about. This is just what life is. Good things happen,
Circumstances.
bad things happen, you have to deal with it. Um, I just want to be able to, as a whole, make it easier for everybody. Because like I'm very into making things as efficient as possible. Like I want everything to be easy for everybody, because I'm tired of it not being easy. It's not easy
Chanel has a
being
point.
alive.
Yeah, Chanel. She's
Everything
right.
starts by talking. You got to talk about it.
Yeah.
You have to manifest it into being. Network with who you need to network with. There's,
Yeah.
like I said, if there's anything the two of us can do to help you out, please let us know.
Yes.
Especially once
I would
you get
appreciate
your
any kind of help.
once you get your show together, we will advertise the hell out of it for you.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah,
This
and
is
I really want to like not just. It'd be really cool to not only have Tucson queens, but to bring in queens from wherever, and then to also feature queens at this show that I want to have. I want to feature queens that are housebound, that can't, even ones that are bedbound, or any kind of performer. If you're not a drag performer or a drag queen, if you're a burlesque performer, if you're this or that, if you can get on a video, I would want you to be in this, show. If this show is going to be a festival, even better, because there's more that we can do. And it's not just, like 5 people performing. It's like a whole thing. It's a whole extravaganza. Like this is my vision for the future, is to make sure that this gets to a point where people can't look away from it, and it becomes a fun thing that, we have to deal with this pain either mentally or physically, but why should we do it alone? We need to get together. We need to come together and have fun. This should be fun because it's miserable. Let's make it fun.
If you were to get, how would people contact you if they wanted to help out?
Okay, so I think probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is going to be through Instagram. I kind of messed up my my social media on Facebook end, and I don't have a website like some queens have. But Brütisha Drag is where you can message, like anybody can message me. And if you want to, you can message me on TikTok. I have it so that you can message me, even if we're not connected or friends or anything. So Brütisha on TikTok, Brütisha Drag, yeah, on Instagram. And you can message me if you're interested in booking me for a show, if you're interested in helping me get this whole thing that I want to do going. I welcome you and I invite you to message me, because I think that we are overdue for having something that is inclusive like this, because it should be inclusive, and it, there's no requirements for you to be I don't have a requirement for you to be in the show necessarily, really, but if I want to book disabled performers, mentally or physically, whatever, if you have both, and I want to give each of these people a platform to be able to tell their audience this is the pain that they have. And make more people aware of, because I've researched so many different types of diseases and afflictions, conditions, mental and physical, because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me for the longest time. And I didn't have, the support from the government. They never gave me a disability. I never got that benefit. And I tried every single year and they denied me. I was denied. And then, I don't have access to healthcare right now, and that's really unfortunate, but there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as me. And I want people out there to say, this is what I have going on in my life. It's not my whole life, but it's a huge part of my life. It's part of, it becomes part of your personality.
Sure
And if
does.
you don't know how to express yourself, oh my gosh, I just remember when I wasn't performing and I was going through this hell, I felt like the lowest of the low, below anybody. I didn't feel like I was worth anything, because I didn't feel like a value to myself, because what am I doing? I'm just in my bed. I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving. I'm not providing any kind of service for anybody. I'm not putting my art out there. And I tried to be a painter, try to get my name out there in some kind of way. I got on a stage, and that was like my first taste of it. I was my first and only art show, because I used to be a painter. And I got on stage, and I kind of did a really short comedy bit that the host wasn't really too happy about, because of the topics that I was throwing out there was very like, it was a bunch of like drug fueled conversation that I was having, because my art is crazy. My art is out of control weird, and that was the only way that I could explain it. But I got that taste for being on a stage, and this was after I did all the pinup and the runway work and the commercial work and stuff. But to be that sick and that willing to be on a stage to have people like, please listen to what I have to say, this is very important, and not have that ability, not have the access to that was really unfortunate, because I was in the thick of it, and I didn't feel like a person, and I already don't feel like a person because of what's going on in here. But no, yeah, like I just want, overall, I would want people to be able to not just only express themselves and perform on stage, even if they have something that's preventing them. There's ways around it. I want to show people that you can do what you want. You can do whatever you want. If you don't have access to clothing, somebody could be out there to help you. We could even create something where like into the drag closet, a drag closet for people that don't have access to clothing. Why not? That's I want to have. I want it to, so that everybody can have access to something that they want to do, and not just anybody has access to whatever. Just people that are passionate. I want to see those passionate people on a stage performing with nothing holding them back. I really want that. I want to see that, in like a big way, and not just like on a TV show kind of way. Just a very big
Platform.
global thing, because like there's so much pain in the world, and I don't want to see that anymore.
Derek brought up a good idea. Why not start a TikTok that highlights the kind of performers you would like to see? You could treat it like a digital drag show. Eventually, if you got a big enough following, you could also monetize it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah,
that's why
I'm definitely gonna bookmark that.
Well, we have gone over our time, but it was very important for us to go over our time this evening.
But I told you I was going to talk a lot. I do apologize.
No, I'm glad you did. I feel like I have learned so much tonight. I do want to, very quickly, we do have Derek's helpful drag tip for the evening. My husband, who is a show director, always has a helpful drag tip. And tonight's drag tip is for all performers out there.
Uh-oh.
Don't forget the people who were in your corner when you were no one, once strangers begin treating you like someone.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Don't forget where you come from,
you have
baby.
To. Yeah, you got to know where you're coming from. You got to know where you're going and who you're taking with you.
Exactly. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's so accurate.
Don't get too big for your britches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just get
Never
a bigger
forget where you
size.
come from. That's why I always leave my pictures up on Facebook. I'm like, "Ooh, look at me when I started with my pencil thin eyebrows. That was a choice."
Exactly.
I did not
Exactly.
look good in them. Like, um, but yeah, each performer should put their Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal info in their videos. That's a good idea. That is a very good idea.
Absolutely.
Oh, Monty, this is my new favorite podcast. I love that you talk about everything. How often are new episodes? We do new episodes typically every other week. We didn't do one 2 weeks ago because she was in the Bahamas and I was, what was that, Amethyst?
Rhinoplasty.
Yes, rhinoplasty. That's what that was.
She's having her nose done.
But yeah, we have new episodes every other week. In fact, in 2 weeks, we will be back on December 13th with our first guest from across the pond. I am very excited. We are going to have a bad case of arthritis.
Arthur, that's a woolly beast.
That is a hairy man. Oh,
That's
yeah.
a woolly beast.
I am so excited. I've
Mercy.
been a fan of arthritis for a while now, and he was one of the people who reached out to me on TikTok. So I am beside myself. Now, bear in mind, when we are filming, it will be 3:00 in the morning where he is at.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, appreciate that. He's like, do you want me in drag? And I'm like, at 3:00 in the morning, only if you really want to. But I think he might. But we are winding down for the evening. Brütisha, do you have anything that you would like to say to the guests before we close out for the evening?
I do want to thank you very, very much for having me on here. I know that this could be a very good starting point for everything that I want to do, and you have been a very integral part to this. And it's been something that I've been wanting to do, even if it's not like a huge scale. Well, what is a huge scale anyway? I getting out there at all and trying to yapping around and spreading my stuff around there. And it not being just about me. And I just want people out there to not be so hard on themselves, especially if they don't have access to the things that they want to have access to. It's going to happen for you, and it's going to take time. If you have to, wait for it, then you're going to have to wait for it. If it's something that you're going to have to put all yourself into it to achieve, then put all yourself into it, even if it feels like it's going to break you. And I promise it won't break you. There are people that will be around you to help you out and lift you up.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Amethyst, anything to add?
Absolutely. Brütisha, thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability. A lot of people may view that as weakness, but it is power. You coming on here and opening up and sharing your story and your history and your hopes and your dreams, that's power. So, and as you mentioned earlier, we did title this, What is Real? You are real. You are here and you are valid, and we see you and we acknowledge you and we love you. So thank you for being a part of this. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about. That costs us nothing and gives us everything. So thank you for being a light in the world. Thank you for being who you are.
It really, really makes me happy.
Good. Now pass that on into the world. It's that simple.
Yes.
People like you, people like Jade and I, we change the world, and that's what our platform is here. We use it for good. Sometimes we have to open up, and sometimes we have to dive into things that are sensitive, that cause controversy, that may not be popular, but we're here for a good reason, and we mean to do good in the world. So thank you for being a part of that mission for us. So we love you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, honey.
It makes me so
Good. Jade, sister, I love your crazy ass. I'm glad your gender reassignment surgery went well.
Stop it! It's called confirmation.
You're
Any-
a new woman. She's a new woman. I'm glad you can breathe again. I think that's wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm happy for you, and we're going to get you back out on that stage. We got you. You know, I always got you. So no worries there. To all our friends, fams, loved ones, family members, thank you for keeping us going. We've been doing this 3.5 years now. We're almost at the 4-year mark, which is insane to me. But we love you and we thank you. Stay fun, stay weird, stay you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Love you. Your turn.
I couldn't have worded it any better. Brütisha, like I said, if there's anything we can do to help you, we are here for you. I haven't been moved to tears on this show for quite some time, and thank you for fixing that tonight. You are a light. Like, you are, your drive, your passion, your motivation is just wonderful to see. And if you manifest it, it'll happen. We don't know what form it will take, but it will happen. And
That's right.
if there's anything we can do to help that, we are here for you on the other side of the country, but we are still here for you.
It's not far.
No,
Right over there.
Yeah.
we got you.
Right over there.
It's around the corner.
Just a quick little flight. We'll be right there.
Yeah.
Amethyst, my darling sister, I am so proud of you for just, first of all, that Maryland dress, which everybody said.
Baby, you didn't even show the pictures. I thought you were going to show a picture, babe.
I was going to, but I've been having trouble with my external hard drive today. But they were saved in the folder, and I couldn't get them.
We'll get to it next time.
Oh yeah. But I can't wait to work with you again this Friday at, oh wait, I did a segue and I didn't even do it right. At the Jingle Bell Rock Show. Amazing. How much does a segue? If anybody hasn't gotten their tickets yet, I know Derek shared it in the chat earlier.
That's
Make
right.
sure you get your tickets for Divas Down Under this Friday. We still have tickets left, so make sure you get your tickets. There was a question earlier, can you buy tickets at the door? You can, but if it's sold out, it's sold out. And there's nothing we can do about it. So I recommend ordering ahead of time. Tonight was educational. Tonight was just a beautiful evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you.
Welcome back.
And like we always say, go forth and be the beauty you would like to see in the world. And every absurdity has a champion to defend it. Good night.
Thank you for joining us on Inside the Drag Closet.